I mean, again, he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
Honest, man.
Exactly. Peace of Christ to all of you, and please invite your friends. And today our topic about the Trinity. You know, the Muslims always, they come to us and they give us their logic about Trinity. As an example, God cannot be three. Like how God can be three and one at the same time? And you know, the answer for that is it doesn't take even 2 seconds. The one who questioned God, how he can be, that means he do not believe in God and he have no God. Because God is the last one you can ask him how you can do that. So the Muhammadan, they are very, very funny in their logic. The IQ of Muhammad is infecting every IQ of his followers. Very low IQ. When a Muhammadan, he say, how God can be three and one in the same time? Well, how God can resurrect people from death? How people can create you from nothing? How God, I mean, let us ask questions then, you know, as long as you want to ask questions, as long as you are asking the question of ability. The same question proved to us that Muhammadan are pagan and they don't believe in God, neither in the power of God or the ability of God. So many Christians, they do not know really how to answer because they don't listen carefully what the Muslim is saying. The Muslim is giving you the answer. The Muslim is shooting himself in the foot. The Muslim is proving to you that he is a stone worshippers. How a stone can be three and one at the same time? It cannot. But God can. How Allah can be one and the three in the same time? He cannot, because Allah is false God. You see, the second we say God, we speak about the Almighty. If you ask the Muslims, is Allah Almighty? They will say yes, but your God cannot be three and one at the same time. Can he? The answer, no. The Quran actually gives us a very clear answer about Allah. Him himself is a question himself. And what he is a question? He is a questioning his ability. No, we are typing in English. Have you ever heard of a God he questioned his ability? I question my ability to make a comment to you because simply I have a limited ability. I'm a human being, so I cannot claim that I can fly because a human being cannot fly. If I'm a bird, I can. So it doesn't mean I'm God if I can fly. But questioning my ability about doing things is a clear proof that Allah cannot be God. So why Allah, he don't have a son? The Quran says, well, Allah, how Allah can have a son if you don't have a girlfriend? You know, in the front of us on the screen, we are searching for the word sahib, 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 sahib. You see all those words, sahib. Sahib mean friend. If you say sahiba, you mean girlfriend. As you see, sahib, ashab, all those like coming from one word, which mean friends. But the Quran in chapter 6, verse 101 says, how can he who? Allah. How can he have a children when he has no wife? And that is telling us why Muslims are following a stupid prophet, literally stupid. This man, he just armed us with a clear weapon to rip Allah apart and take every screw from this screwed God. Because if he is the originator of the heaven and the world and the earth, How in the world, you ask yourself, how can he have a children when he don't have a wife? Do God need a wife to have a children's? And who said that the God of the Christians, he had a wife in order to have Jesus? I mean, what kind of refutation such a refutation is? And this is showing us not only Muslim today, still they don't understand Christianity. Their God, Aka Muhammad, both are a bunch of foolish. If there is a single Christian believe that God, he have a wedding party with Mary and they have honeymoon, they went to Hawaii and then they have a baby after that, his name is baby Jesus. Is that what the Christian believe? But when we read carefully what so-called God saying, remember, this is not my words and this is not my translation. Muslim will be upset always when you read for them their stupid book. And I love read the stupidity of their God. It hurt their feeling, but what can you change the book? Change it. Already you changed a lot. Take it off. Take this verse off. Who is the one saying the word how can? Allah. Have you ever heard of a God say to himself, how can I do this when I don't have this? Allah went inside his garage and he decided to make a car battery. But he look, I don't have lithium. I don't have a box. I don't have the metal to make the positive and the negative. How I can make a battery? That work for a human being who need material, and in this case here, a woman is a material, because what Allah is saying, me by myself, I cannot do it. I need a girlfriend. You see, the Muslim translation says wife. That is a false translation. Sahiba. Sahiba never was a wife. If you ask a Muslim how many sahiba your prophet says, they will be upset. Sahiba is a mistress, is a girlfriend, is a woman in the bed. She is not yours. So how can he have what? Have a children's? And by the way, this is a false translation, because here it says walad in Arabic. Walad is a child, not children's. This is why you cannot trust Muslim translations. Muslims are anyone who do with the business of Islam. He is a Muslim, he is a liar. It's a must. Like if I change the translation, this is Muhammad Hilali and Muhammad Khan. All of them are Muhammad. And then if we go, let us say, to another translation, let us say Muhammad Itani. Let us say Muhammad Itani, what Muhammad Itani will say. Hey Muhammad Itani, where are you? See? Have a son, not children's. There's a huge difference between children's and son. So how can he have a son when he never had a companion? Look at the translation. The one before it, it was saying wife. Here it's a companion. So what we understand from the logic of the one who is speaking, which is supposedly Allah, Allah by himself is in this ability. He cannot have a son unless he have a companion. And this is stripping the God of Islam from the word God, for he need a woman like me. I am a man. I don't have a wife. I don't have a girlfriend. How I can have a son? Very simple. But remember, the stupid Muhammad, when he made this verse claiming that Allah told him this refutation, he forgot that his God supposedly is God. So how in the world this God, he cannot have a son without having a wife? A Muslim, he sent a question to a Muslim website, Islam and Answer Questions. What is the question? The Muslim is asking, how come in Islam we don't understand the Trinity of the Christians? What is the concept of Christian Trinity that the Quran declare to be false? And then he's asking, in various places in the Quran, Christians are condemned for saying that Allah is a third of a three. Chapter 4, verse 171. But in chapter Al-Ma'idah, verse 573, when we read the verse, it's assumed that they refer to the Christian Trinity as Father and Son and Holy Spirit. In chapter 5, verse number 73, it says that. Let us go and see. Just to show you the confusion of this cult. It's the most stupid religion ever. '73. All right. Well, as I know, there's nowhere it says what this guy is saying. Where it says God is Holy Spirit. See, they don't even understand their book. Where in the verse here it says that this verse claiming that the Christian believe in God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit? Nowhere. Nowhere. So even the Muslims, when they read their own books, they have zero understanding of their book. However, this guy who's asking the question, he continues saying, in the book of Tafsir, it state that they meant here that the Christians claim that Allah was the third with the Isa and Maryam. So the Muslim here is saying, well, I understand that there that the Christian, they have three as God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. But the Quran meant that God the Father, God the Son, and God the wife. Do you see it, people? By the way, stay with me in the topic. Anyone will ask questions out of the topic, I'm going to block you. We made the chat running, but we don't want people to ask questions. When we finish, if we say, okay, guys, we're done, you any question, then you can ask questions. Focus on the topic. So this Abdul is getting them busted, saying, well, how in hell the Quran meant that Isa is one of the three, and Allah is one, Isa is one, and Mary is God the wife. And he's asking, is that preferring for a specific group and sect? That's a good question. There is sect believe that Mary is God, but there is no sect like that. Never exist. You see, we have Christians who highly think of Mary, yeah, but nobody believe that Mary is God. And then he says, as in the case of the Jews claiming that Uzayr is the son of Allah, but in the case of the Jews, the Quran says the Jews believe Uzayr, not one. The Jews, all the Jews. And the Quran did not say a sect believe in this. He said the Christians believe. And actually, the Quran never used the word Christian. He used the word Nasara, which Muhammad have different explanation for it. Why? Jesus, he said, who is going to be my helpers? The disciple says, we are your helpers. And this is where Nasara coming from, because supposedly in Arabic, Nasara, Ansar, mean helpers, which is a very funny logic. The stupid Muhammad, he do not understand that there is a Christian sect out of the line were called the Nazareth, as a word mean the poor, not Nazareth, the city. The poor. They are not poor because they don't have money. They are poor because they have a poor understanding of Christianity. And most likely Muhammad, he copied from that name from there, and he got his own conclusion about where it's coming from. He make it an Arabic name, when all of us, we knew that Christianity have nothing to do with the Arab, and not a single name there is an Arabic name. Not a single word. So the Quran says the Jews believe that Uzair is son of Allah. We could not find one Jewish sect. The Muslim, to fix that, they say there was one Jew. There was one Jew believe that Allah has a son, his name is Uzair. But if you go in the Quran, you will find that Uzair is not a single Jew believe in him, for the Quran says the Jews, not a Jew. The Jews say. He didn't say some of the Jews. He didn't say one of the Jews. He says the Jews. So the Muslims, again, they are finding stupid mistakes in their Quran, and obviously Muhammad is an idiot. He say things is not valid and not true. Not a single Jew. And by the way, here the name, the translation, they say Ezra. That is false. Nowhere. This is Uzair. There's a huge difference between Uzair and Ezra. How Uzair became Ezra? And which book? Which book of the Jews, in any book of history, says that the Jews, they worship a man, his name is Uzair, he is a son of Allah? And which Jews believe in Allah anyway? Do you remember when Mimi Hijab was debating David Wood? Mimi Hijab, he said, not a single Jew, not a single Jew believe that God have a son. Not a single Jew. And here, you know, David Wood, because he is not good in debating, he is very horrible in debating. He missed the opportunity to give him the biggest screw driver ever. You should say to him, you idiot, don't you know the Quran? The Quran says that Jews worship Uzair. And you are saying to me not a single Jew? But as usual, you know, David Wood is good to making video, but in debate is hummus. Like Muhammad Hijab, like Uthman, like all of them, they are hummus. The Jews say Uzair is a son of Allah. So why in the interpretation says there is one Jew? One Jew. Because the Muslims, they were embarrassed. They could not find a single Jew. And who is that Jew who say? So now the Quran, he want to speak about the Jews because of one Jew. Look like this guy, he was following his own religion. One Jew. But the book in front of you says the Jews. Do Allah speak good Arabic? Or maybe Allah is a Turkish man. Aman Rabbi Aman. So when the Quran says the Jews and the Christians, that means all the Jews and all the Christians. And he continue asking how in the world, you know, this is happening when the Christians, they believe that God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. This is not their Trinity. So we were refuting who exactly? You know what I mean? We were refuting who? And by the way, if you are a Muhammad and you'd like to join me live on air, my Skype is open. All right? If you are a Muhammadan, you like to join me live to say your say, to refute us maybe, you are welcome. And here, you know, the Muslim scholar supposedly this is a site run by scholars, and I found it very funny what kind of a scholar they are. Firstly, look at the answer. Firstly, Allah may be exalted says interpretation of the meaning. What interpretation of the meaning? Surely disbelievers are those who say that Allah is a third of a three in Trinity, but there is no ilah to be worshipped but Allah. So, and if they cease not from what they say, verily we will punish them. Chapter 5, verse number 73. Ibn Kathir, may Allah have mercy on him, said, the correct view of this was revealed concerning the Christian in particular, as was stated by Mujahid and others. Then the scholars differed concerning that. As usual, the Muslim, they differed about anything. I mean, the Quran says, this is the book, we made it a clear details. You know, what Allah he did, he made the book in great details. I mean, nobody can explain the Quran better than Allah, right? So chapter 6 verse number 97 says we made the Quran in the clear details. 698, 697, 121, 732. Let us see this one. This one is short. You know, this is short. Chapter 7, verse number 52. Certainly we have brought to them a book, between two brackets, the Quran, which have we explained in details. I mean, the book is explained in details. And then the scholars, they disagree and they differ about the meaning of every verse in the Quran. Have you ever heard of a failure of someone he called himself God more than this? So what kind of explanation you did? As long as you explain it in details, why we have a billion explanation and they disagree with each other? And the funny is that in the same explanation they say, the scholars, they differ about that. So where is the explanation? That means we have a different explanation. So we don't have explanation. Because if we don't agree about explanation, that means there's no explanation. They are different. But the Quran says, Allah, He made the book explained in a great details. We ask the Muslim, what does that verse mean? They say Allah knows best. Okay, what about the verse after it? Allah knows best. Okay, what about the verse before it? Allah knows best. Okay, what about the verses, the 50th verse before it? Read Ibn Kathir. Okay, but Ibn Kathir, he disagree with Al-Qurtubi. Oh, they are differ. So which one is the correct? Allah knows best. So here we notice that the stupid God of Islam do not understand the Trinity. So how we can expect someone like ZAKIR NAIK to know even what the Trinity is? If his God think that Mary is part of the Trinity, and if this Abdul want to say to us, at that time, there is some Christians, they believe that Mary, she was God. Where are they? Those are not Christians then. You see, we as a Christians, today there is many false religions like Jehovah's Witnesses. Are they Christians? They are not. They are not. Mormon. Are they? They are not. So how you call them Christians if they are not Christians? And how you say the Christians? So where in the Quran is speaking about the Christians then? If the Quran is speaking about certain group, That's mean the Quran never refuted the majority of the Christians and never spoke about them. And that would be stupid, because you refute a little tiny group if it exists, which is not, and you ignore to refute the massive believers in numbers. And here we see Zuzu, peace be upon him. Brother and sister, let us examine the Trinity in the scientifically. Someone says that there is water, the water can be snow, the water can be ice, and the water can be steam. But brother, water, when becomes steam, is different structure. And God don't change. God don't change. You stupid idiot potato. Isn't it the Bible says that God created Adam in his image? Which means from the beginning, God's image is image of a man. And not only that, isn't it your stupid prophet, he copied exactly the same phrase from the Old Testament, and he says, Allah, he created Adam in his image. Exactly as the Bible says. And then Muhammad, he added that Adam was 60 meters tall. And I wonder why he's short. I was going to be proud of him, but he is so short now. What the hadith says, he reported that Allah messenger saying, when any of you fight, he must avoid the face, for God created Adam in his own image. Do you see it? Do you see it, people? So when this is stupid, he says, well, God don't change. If God, he changed, this means he is not God. And a man is a man. If I take right now, I will copy this. God created Adam in his own image. And I will post it in Google. What I will find? I will find the Bible. Can you believe it? I will find the Bible. I just posted that. Here we go. In my screen. God created Adam in his own image. What I found? Genesis 1:27. And you will find that in Genesis, not only God saying, so God created Adam in his own image, he repeat that twice. In his image, he created him. The Muslim, to solve this problem, they say, no. What the Prophet saying, that Allah, he created Adam in the same image he had. This is stupid. So God created Adam in the same image he had? What does that mean? Don't we know already that God created Adam? What do you mean in same image he had? And why you avoid beating the face? Oh, because Adam, he have the face of Adam. This is even more stupid. So what about the ass of Adam? Isn't it the same ass we have? Does it make a difference, the face of the ass? But because this man is a thief, his followers are thieves, and they do not explain, cannot explain. Muhammad is the same as a person, he claimed that he knew physics. A student, he put his hand up, he asked question about physics. How your donkey fly? Muhammad, he say, Allah is capable of everything. Can Allah have a son? No, Allah is not capable. Can Allah change from being not a man to be a man? No, Allah cannot do that. So in one hand they say Allah is capable of anything he wants. 2 seconds after they say Allah is not capable, is impotent. Do you see why we laugh at your logic, Muhammadan? Right? Mr. Atheist, maybe later when we finish the topic, you are welcome to ask me the question, no problem. So as you see here, the Muslims are in denial, and when a Muslim he says how God can be one and three, well, what is impossible for you, you idiot, is not impossible for God. This is what God is about. Same time, even you as a human being is a three and one in the same time. Actually, if you go here, when this guy he was asking a question, if you go in the top, you will see here this guy is mentioned in chapter 4 verse 171. If we go to chapter 4 verse 171, what we will find? Let's read. And remember, this is the Muslim translation, this is the Quran, this is Allah is talking, this is not Christian Prince. This is not Christian Prince. Which means don't listen to me, listen to what it says there. Listen to your book, if you have one. Do you? So if you read here, and you can choose any translation you want. I mean, those people, they make translations so long, they edit words is not there. So it choose shorter one. Yusuf Ali. All the people commit no excesses in your religion, nor say of Allah but the truth. Christ Jesus, the son of Mary. Here we have to stop. Why Christ Jesus is the son of Mary? Any Muslim can tell us? Where is the father? In Islam, there is no way to explain what is the point of Mary being virgin. First, there's no way to prove it, because my mother, she can claim to be virgin when she gave birth to me. Your mother, she can claim that. This is a miracle nobody can see. So what the point? In Christianity, makes sense. For this is the Son of God, and when he came to us in the flesh, Jesus called himself the Son of Man. For he is born from his father, not from a man. Jesus, he asked the Jews, what say you? About the Messiah. They said he is son of David. And you will notice that even the Christian, they say that too. Son of David, son of David, son of David. People call him son of David. Why? Because David is one of the greatest, glorious kings of Israel. But if we go in the Bible, let us open the Bible. Give me a second. In John chapter 8. We will find the following. Let us have it in the screen. I hope that text is coming clear to you. However, in case it's not, I will post the translation in the chat so you can open it with me. This is the Aramaic. It's way better translation than other translations. But Yeshua went to the Mount of Olives. This is the story when he went to the Mount of Olives. Let us go down. You will see here Jesus right away. Yeshua spoke to them and he said, I am the living God. Most of translation says I am. But the fact each time Jesus says I am saying I am as Yahweh. which means I am the living God who exists by himself. I am the light of the world. Whoever follow me, he shall not walk in darkness, but shall find the light of life. But let us continue down. And here again, Jesus, he repeat that he is the living God. But if we go down a little bit, we will find something very interesting. The Judeans were saying to him, who are you? Who are you? That is a good question. Who are you? And then we read Jesus after saying, I am the living God. Not only that, I am the Son of God. I do nothing of my own pleasure, but just as my Father has taught me, so I am speaking. And he has sent me is with me. He claimed that the Father is with him. And my Father has not left me alone, because I'm doing always what is beautiful to him. And then we continue, we will find some information about the existence of Abraham and the existence of Jesus. The Jews, they are so proud to be the children of Abraham. So he said to them, well, if you are saying that Abraham is our father, you know, they said, oh, Abraham is our father. So Yeshua, he said to them, if you were the children of Abraham, you would have done the work of Abraham. And here, by the way, this is a clear refutation for those who claim lineage of decency. You know what I mean? The Muslims and many Christians, especially many stupid priests, I call them stupid because they're ignorant, they claim that the Muhammadan and Muhammad is from Ishmael. But all of us, we knew that the Old Testament make it clear that Hajar, the wife of Abraham, she was migrated again back to Egypt, and she made her son Ishmael from an Egyptian woman. So how the children will be Arab? That is the most stupid statement of a priest you can hear. But and all of them, they copy each other, you know, copy paste like Muslims. But here we notice that even if you are truly from the children of Abraham, that does not make you a child of Abraham. Why? Jesus answered, if you are truly children of Abraham, what do? Then you would have been doing the work of Abraham. But those are really children of Abraham. Those are the Jews. Do you understand? Those are the Jews. Those are not Hindus. Those are not Roman. Those are not Japanese. Those are the Jews. Yet Jesus saying to them, you have nothing to do with Abraham. So the children of Abraham is the one who do the work of Abraham, not the one who was born of seed of Abraham. Do you understand? Do you understand what Jesus said? So if Muhammad is of Abraham, he should do what Abraham do. He don't kiss a stone and bow down to a stone and go around the stones. He don't go and fornicate, rape, kidnap, torture, lie, teaching everybody to do the opposite of what God he want. If Muhammad is following Abraham, then he should know that God, he came to Abraham as a man. And he should acknowledge that. If we ask the Muslims, what do you know about Abraham? They know nothing. They know nothing. And here the challenge. Who is a Muslim he can call me and tell me who is Abraham? Muslims, anyone can tell me who is Abraham? They do not know. Where was Abraham? They do not know. What Abraham mean? They do not know. So what do you know about Abraham? The thief Muhammad, he moved and he lived in a city, it's called Yathrib. Yathrib is a city of Jews. He started learning from the Jews about their prophets. And then he started adding those names to his book. Before that day, he didn't know Abraham. If you remember when we started our intro, the video intro, we have Abdul, we call him the ketchup boy. What he said in the video, Muhammad was not Abrahamic. Muhammad was not Abrahamic. He does not know who is Gabriel. Muhammad is 40 years old. He never heard of Gabriel. Are we listening? Muhammad, the 40 years old man, he never heard of Gabriel. How can he be Abrahamic? In fact, the guy, he continues saying, the sketchup boy, the footnote boy, he have many names, people laugh at him. He continues saying the truth. He was not Abrahamic. He did not come from the Abrahamic faith. Did you hear it? So where he come from? What Muhammad was worshipping for the last 40 years. We just heard him saying he did not come from Abrahamic faith. And Muslims, if you are going to argue with me about it, I am playing for you the ketchup boy recording. It's not me who said that. You see, we struggle to prove it, but we have a gifted person, Joe Biden. Oh, there's no sound? Oh, hold on, sorry. It's my fault. Thank you for telling me. There's no sound. Let me play it again. It's my fault.
And he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith.
He does not know who is Gabriel is because he did not come from Abrahamic faith. And that explains everything. Muhammad is a scam. And the Muslim, they lie to you when they say that Muhammad was Abrahamic all his life. In fact, he is a pagan man. He's a liar. He's a fraud. And he is coming from the pagan, and he was a pagan as the footnote boy. He just said. Read, listen.
And he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
Quran is mentioned. If this book
And that explained the whole story. So how a stupid pagan who do not know what the Christian believe is going to explain the Trinity? So he think the Trinity is God. He have a wife. Her name is Mary. They went to Hawaii. They have sex there, and they have a baby Jesus. This is explaining the stupidity. If you ask the Muslims who is Abraham, they do not know. What about we ask them who is Allah? Can you believe it that not a single Muslim can tell us what the word Allah mean? If you go and search online right now, you will find tons of articles. Some Muslims, they say to you the word Allah is diverted from the word Ilah. But that's mean Allah is not a name. I mean, do you see how they don't know? They don't know what the name is, what the name for, where the name is coming from. Not a single Muslim can answer. My Skype is open. If there's any Muslim would like to call us. Mr. Don Who asking who is Adam's dad? I don't know, Mr. Dan, who he's very smart. How he can be having a dad if he is the first man? Very silly of you. Who is Adam dad, brother? Adam who? You must be a who. If Adam is the first man created from mud, so who is his father? He have no father. But in the case of Jesus, he have father. For Jesus, he said, and this is why we are reading chapter 8 of the book of John. The Jews, they said to him, after a long conversation we see here, they said to him, are you greater than our father Abraham who died, and the prophets who have died? Who are you making yourself? Yeshua, he said to them, if I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. Anyone can glorify himself. It's my Father who glorify me. And you know, all of us, we knew that man glorify God, not God glorify man. Is that correct? The man, he glorify his God, the one he worship. Doesn't matter what God you worship. In the case of Jesus, my Father, he glorify me. He whom you say, he is our God. So your God is my Father. And you do not know him, but I know him. He claimed that he knew the God they worship, and he claimed that he is his Father. And if I had said that I did not know him, I myself would have been a liar like you. But I know him, I do know him, and I keep his words. Abraham, your father, desired to see my day, and he saw it and he rejoiced. So now the Messiah is not only saying to them that I am the God of Abraham, who Abraham wished to see him. Well, he saw me and he rejoiced when he saw me. The Jews, they said to him, you are saying to him, you are not yet 50 years old, and you have seen Abraham? They still don't understand. Yeshua said to them, timeless truth I speak to you, before Abraham would exist, I am, which means I am exist as a living God. They picked up stones to stone him, and Yeshua disappeared. Why they want to kill him? For he just claimed to be God. Don, you see, if you want to ask questions just to be silly, I will block you. Who is father of Eve? You are just being stupid. There's a huge difference between Adam and Eve and Jesus. Why? If we go to the Quran, just to get you busted, people are silly, you know. In the Quran it says, وَجَعَلْنَاهُ نَسَبًا وَصِهْرًا. No, we are typing in English. Chapter 25, verse number 54. The Quran confirmed that every human being after Adam have to be born either from sexual relationship by marriage or from illegal relationship out of marriage. Every human being. It's a destiny. وَجَعَلْنَاهُ, you know, water is a sperm. Water is the sperm. And he made that sperm through blood, which means just sex without or by marriage. But Jesus neither this or that. According to Muhammad, Jesus is born of a virgin. A Muslim here is trying to refute us. I don't know why he don't want to call us. That would be nice. You can call me and tell me what you are saying. I will put what he said in the screen. Maybe that will help him. So look what this Muhammad, and he just said. You know, supposedly he is, I don't know, he's a Muslim. Christian Prince, you are a complete idiot. Muslims say that God cannot do something. It does not mean he cannot literally do something. It's mean he would not do something because of his principles. Principles? You see, you stupid idiot. The verse in the Quran says, how can he have a son if he don't have a girlfriend? He don't say, how I can have a son which is against my principle. He said, how can I have a son? He gave us the reason. So who is the idiot? So in order to fix the stupidity of Allah, I advise you to go and erase the word girlfriend, because then you can lie and say my principles, and I laugh at you when you say principle. Isn't it Allah in the chapter of 21 in the Quran says, if Allah would like to have a sahiba or a girlfriend, he will take it from us? Isn't it your God say that? This is chapter 21, verse number 17. If Allah would like to take a wife or a girlfriend, he will take that girlfriend from us. What the principle? If we want to do that. So it's possible. And it's maybe yes, maybe no. But still, Allah, he confirmed that he can have a girlfriend, and it's up to him. What principle? And how that is against the principle of God? And do you have the principle of God? You know what? I challenge you to call me and tell me the principle of your God, so we can die laughing. The principle of Allah, if you believe in me, I will make your penis endless. The principle of Allah will give Muhammad the power of 4,000 men in boom boom. The principle of Allah, a man, he can lie to his wife, and the wife, she can lie to her husband. The principle of Allah, if Allah want to take a wife for fun, he will take her from us. And the funny, look at the translation here. It says, we found it in our presence. Look at the liars. What the translation is that? Khattab. When it says in Arabic, lahwan. Lahwan is a word for women. Lahwan is a word for women. Equal value to marry him. Okay, hold on. I will go with you. Here we go. You see, those Muslims are like Joe Biden. Are you sure you are not like Joe Biden version of a Muslim? Look what he just said. Hold on. Let me copy and put in the screen. He said now again, what is more horrible? Don't play dumb. In the context of the verse, it's mean there's none is of equal value as he to marry him or to be considered as wife. Okay, I will go with you. Guys, can we hold this Abdul accountable for what he just said? There's no one is equal to Allah to marry from. You just agreed that if there is somebody is equal to him to marry from, he will. And that will be a wife. Let us go and read the interpretation for the verse. It's in front of us in the screen, and the Muslims, they are trying to lie so they can hide what the Quran is saying. The Quran is saying clearly, if we would like to take a wife, we will take it from us. And this is your Muslim website saying that. This is Muhammad Hilali and Muhammad Khan saying, had we intended to take a pastime, i.e. a wife or a son, we could surely have taken it from us. So how it's not exist, he will take it from us. If we go and read the interpretation for this verse, we will even die more laughing. Chapter 21, verse number 17, and this is the Muslims' interpretation, not my interpretation. Not what? Not my interpretation. Not what? Not my interpretation. I repeat 3 times because Muslims, they do that. Muhammad is Trinity guy. He cannot speak the word without repeating 3 times. He says, Assalamu alaikum 3 times. He shake his penis 3 times. He is a 3-time boy. So, if Allah, he want to have a son, what he do? Let us see a Jalalain, very big scholar. This is not Christian Prince. Had we desired to find some diversions, that which provide diversions in the way of a partner or a child, we would have find it with ourselves from among the beautiful eyed houris. You said, and let me put what you said in the screen. Priceless. Thank you for sharing with us your thought. Allah will marry only, brother, if he found a woman she is equal to him. And then we find that the Muslim believe that the equal women is the women who Allah he made for Uthman ibn Fabian, the son of Noah, the son of Ketchup, to F. So Allah and Uthman ibn Fabian are equal. Because this is the same Huri, you Muslims are going to F in heaven, Allah is going to F himself, if you like. And here we ask ourselves, as long as you said equal to him, but she is a human. The Hur are a human. In the top of that, Allah make it even more stupid. He is going to F the angels. If we ask the Muslims, is angels males or females? Look what they said. Huris or angels, brother. And I like it when they say beautiful eyed, so they don't have a beautiful ass. This is the only thing that's beautiful about them. Don't they have a vagina? What do you mean the beautiful eyed? Hur have nothing to do with the beautiful eyed, you idiot. Hur is women you can see through. Women you can see through. Because the obsessed Muhammad with the white color made him exaggerate in the promises, and he is learning that word from other language. As an example, grape is hur. Why? We can see the seed through. If we go in the hadith, just to confirm that, Muhammad, he confirmed that the women of Allah, who Allah is taking him 1,000 years to soften their skin. How slow is God, Allah? Somebody go to the pharmacy and buy him some Vaseline. 1,000 years to soften their skin. So Muhammad, he claimed that Allah is making women who their body is see-through. Hur does not mean beautiful eyed, but how you can explain to a donkey what a donkey is saying? At the end of the day, you are talking to donkeys. So Muhammad swear by Allah. He said that those hur, they will be taken away their jealousy from them, which means they will be human, but any human. Their emotion, they are gone. They are just sex toys. They just no jealousy. And he described those hur by saying, who are so beautiful, transparent, which you can see through their flesh and their bones. And now this guy he is saying here, if you read the verse itself, now he don't want you to read the interpretation. Do you notice that? So the Muslim, they have interpretation, but their interpretation is not interpretation. It's a false representation. So do you see the hypocrisy of those idiots? When you speak something, they say, let us go to the interpretation. We go to the interpretation. They say, we do not need interpretation because the interpretation get them busted. And now he's saying to me, well, the verse itself is enough. Would you see doesn't even have to do with marriage or sex? Where? The word in the Quran, it says lahu. We go to the dictionary. Lahu is a word mean women. So if Allah is speaking of himself, if he would like to have, and you are the one who used this word, let me show you how stupid you are, you idiot. You see, I mean, just look how he changed his thought in 2 seconds. Isn't it you who just said this 2 minutes ago? Don't play dumb. The context of the verse, it's mean there's none equal value. He has to marry him. So you just say it in the other comment, then there's nowhere mention sex. But in the previous comment says no one equal to marry him. Look like you Muslims, when you marry by eyes. Is it you who mentioned the word marriage less than 1 minute ago? Is it you who explained the verse to me yourself, saying, read the context of the verse, you stupid Christian prince. It's mean there is none equal value to marry him, to be considered a wife. You know what? Sometimes I say to myself, can I find one follower of Muhammad? He is not certified idiot. Just one, for sake of the shin of Allah. That was referring to different chapter. You forgot? Okay, that doesn't matter. No, it's not referring to different chapter, you idiot. Where it's referring to different chapter? Are you saying that in this chapter is okay? So are you saying that in different chapter Allah, he says he will marry if he wish? That confirmed. So now we have 2 chapters, not only 1. He tried to fix it now. Abdul, it's recorded. Everything we say here, people, they would download it. Why you don't call me? People, ask yourself, if this Abdul, he is not a fool, why he don't call me and make fool of me? Can you? Do you dare? You can enjoy, you can invite your sheikh with you. Call anyone who do catch-up business. Call your sheikh and call me. And let's see how good you are. But you're a potato. And then, if the Muslim interpretation about Allah having wife from the versions is wrong, who caused the Muslims to have wrong interpretation? Isn't it the Quran says this is a book, we made it clear in clear details? So this is after the interpretation of Allah. The Muslim, they need interpretation, and the interpretation is wrong. Stupidity is amazing. Why the Muslims will think that their God is going to have a wife if we wish, if he is not a male? So look what we prove through this. In order for Allah to have a wife, many things have to be, we have to believe in them. Number one, Allah is a male. And yes, the Muslim keep calling him he. The Quran says how Allah can have a sahiba. He did not say a sahib, which means a girlfriend. Right? So what Allah he have? Allah he have a girlfriend. And this girlfriend the girlfriend of Allah we have a mistake, and anyway, a girlfriend is wrong, it's okay. So Allah have a girlfriend. Allah is a male. Allah, he said, if you wish to have a girlfriend, what he will do? He will take the girlfriend from ourselves. All the Muslims confirm that Allah is not a female, and the Quran itself confirmed that Allah is not a female. Allah is a male. If we ask this Abdul who is in the chat, is Allah male or female? The answer in the Quran. In many locations, the Quran says if Allah want to have a wife or a girlfriend, he will do this and that. He didn't say if you want to have a boyfriend. He says sahiba. Sahiba. Girlfriend. And then we need to ask ourselves, when Allah, he said, if you want to take a partner for us from us, that means the sahiba, the girlfriend of Allah, is from the same kind of Allah. Remember, we have our friend here, he himself, he mentioned that he need to have find somebody equal to him. Equal to him. So in order for Allah to have a girlfriend, she have to be equal to him, as this guy, the Muslim, he said to us. The Quran says, we will take it from us. From what? From us. So when the Muslim, they say, switch to English. The word us it's just a majestic statement. It doesn't mean really us. Here, it doesn't work, this lie. Because if you want to take a partner, this partner is from us. Do you see it? This partner is from us. And as long Allah is speaking of if He want to take, He will find it on us. That means it is there. This guy still insists that he is not being a fool. Let us read again what he is saying so we can laugh more. I don't know why you don't want to call me. I mean, what will happen to you if you call me? You will not get hurt. Call me, man. So look what he said. Let me put this simple. In one chapter, it say Allah would not marry because of the reason I posted earlier. Okay, you know what? Can you tell me the chapter you are talking about so we can go back to zero? Give me the chapter name where you are saying Allah will not marry because the reason. And give us the reason. Give me the chapter so we will not misunderstood you. Is that okay, guys? Give me the chapter you are saying the statement here about it. I'm waiting for you. I will grab my coffee. I made my coffee before I go live and I forgot about it. Here we go. It's cold already. Give me the chapter name you are saying to me that Allah will not get married because there's nobody equal to him. What chapter you are talking about? Go ahead. And we will go there. I will shave my 20 feet beard, not bird, if you know what a chapter you are talking about. And now you are going to search. Give me a second, will you? See, I told you he do not know. He is going to do a search. He do not know what a chapter he is talking about. This guy is just a big mouth. How you are sure what you meant about the previous chapter and now you need to look for what a chapter it is? Do you need to call a friend? Call a friend. I mean, call Abdul. Call ZAKIR NAIK. Christian Prince. The guy, he told you, give me a second. And you are not patient. ZAKIR NAIK, I went, I grabbed my coffee, I came back, I went to the bathroom, I did poo-poo, and now I came back and still looking. Christian Prince. When a Muslim, he said, give me a second, it means give me a century. A century is going to take him a century. All this time, he could not find the verse number. Christian Prince. First of all, we are Muslims. And we are people who believe in Inshallah. I understand, Inshallah, that means nothing will happen. Exactly. So now he will go and he will search in the internet and he will not find the verse. And the only way to find the verse is he going to go and replay the video. So he can find it because he don't know what you said. ZAKIR NAIK, be honest with me. Are you the smartest between all the girls in the family? Christian Prince, respect yourself. I am the smartest between the transgender. What the heck? All this time you are not able to find the verse yet. I'm waiting, man. What happened? Just ignore him. Potato. This is telling you those people do not know what they are saying. They are just opposing. Once I went to a Muslim chat room, they gave me the microphone and supposing now they will get me busted. They said, Christian Prince, if you are a man, take the microphone in our chat room. So I took the microphone. I said, Mohammed, he was a good man. The Muslim, all of them in the chat, they were saying, liar, liar, a Christian Prince. I said, he never raped women. Liar, 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 you are. Muhammad never raped children. Liar, liar. And then after all this, you know, like I'm holding the microphone for 5 minutes. The admin, he gave a dot to the whole chat room and he started cursing them. He said, you stupid, this guy, he did beat us even in our chat room. He was saying to the prophet, never rape, you said to him, liar. He did not have sex with his children, you said to him, liar. He was not a thief, you said to him, liar. Are you even listening? They don't listen. They knew that the Christian prince, whatever he say, is going to be against Muhammad. So I said, it was a lie. What I'm saying, I agree with them. It was a lie. Muhammad never raped. Liar. But then the Abdul, they died. That's how in their chat room I made them agree that Muhammad is idiot, false prophet. And look at this guy. He's gone now. He's never back. Until now, 5 minutes we are waiting for him. He's not back yet. He reminded me of a sheikh. He was debating me once, and he said, excuse me, I need to do the call of nature. And this guy, this sheikh, he never been back. This was maybe 15, I don't know how many years, 10 years, 15 years, I'm not sure. Until now, he is in the bathroom. Do we have any Muslim, he is not in the bathroom, to call me? Any Muslim, he is not in the bathroom, to call me. Look, we have another Muslim here. You know, the Muslims, they can't answer any of our questions. So what they say, if you are a sincere person, please read the Quran himself. Himself? Do you know that the Muslim believe that the Quran is a man? Is it true that you Muslim believe that the Quran is a man? Yes or no? And as long you are saying to me, if you are a sincere person, please read the Quran himself. So why you Muslim make interpretation if the Quran itself himself is enough? Know your creator. Okay, I want to know my creator. Is it true that my creator, which is supposedly Allah according to you, he decided that my sperm is coming from the backbone? You know what? I'm going to go to Thailand and I'm going to do surgery, take off my testicles, because obviously they are for decoration. According to your God, my testicles are just for a look. Just to play bing bong with them. Like you are, you know, sitting alone, what you would do. Like you see, like there's two balls. Like let us play bing bong, like bing bong, bing bong, bing bong. This is your creator who do not know what the testicles are made for. He thinks that the sperm is coming from the backbone. And I heard that the creator, which is the creator of Islam, Aka Muhammad, he thinks that Allah told him that women have a sperm coming from their ribs. Is that what your wife she have? Be honest with me. Can you take a picture? I challenge you. I dare you. The creator. What an easy word to say. Your God, he think that mountains are placed in the top of the earth. Guys, there's a mountain coming. Look, it's in the yard of the neighbors. Big mountain. Big mountain. Your God, the creator, he think that hail is coming from mountains in heaven. She want to debate me? Well, the admin can give you my Skype. They are posting it. She can call me anytime. She can call me now. But I advise her to bring her sheikh with her. Do we have any brave Muslim he dare to call us and join us? Somebody send me the Ukraine war. NATO proxy was war against Russia. Putin is not a bad guy. So proxy, but you started the war, you idiot. I mean, who's the donkey here? But guys, it's a proxy. It's a proxy, but you already started the war. You already started the invasion. If you want to have a war with the American, go. Alaska is 2 miles away. 2 miles away from your borders. Stupid people. That's why the Chinese, they said he left as a donkey, never come back as a horse. Do we have any Muslim would like to call us? Mayday, Mayday. The Houris are waiting for you. If you call me, Allah will extend your private part. Extra mile, maybe 2 miles. And maybe one day you are hungry, you can make sausages of it. Oh, he came back after 10 minutes, but at least now he's being honest. Look what he said. But at least he's honest, you know. Look what he said. My friend, I'm not against you. Trust me, I'm not making fun of you, by the way. But I understand that Islam make people stupid. I'm serious. Islam make people stupid, make people say things, stupid things. So look what you just said now. He agreed that it was about the same verse. Okay, I admit I was wrong. It was the same verse. But why do you automatically assume everything is about sex? It's like you intentionally want to make God look bad. It's not me who made things about sex. It's you who said, Allah, he could not find someone to marry from. Why you make it about marriage if it's not about sex? Isn't it you who said that? It's you. That was your answer. And as long I'm trying to make Allah look bad by speaking of him, he's going to have sex. So you Muslims, when you open this website and your scholar, they say this, Allah want to take Houris. Are they trying to make him look bad, brother? Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when CP come to you? Bad boys, bad boys. Who dare? Who dare to call me? Who is the brave Muslim? He have the courage and the knowledge to call me. Anyone? Anyone? Okay, forget about anyone. Any two. We take you two. Okay, any three. Why you don't ambush me, Muslims? Like, you know, the Muslim, they ambush apostate prophet, they brought him Muhammad Mimi Hijab. Why you don't ambush me and call Mimi Hijab so he got me busted? You were not there. Who dare? You don't want to do ambush? It doesn't say that, CP. And how the Muslim, they refute Christian Prince? Okay, let's think Christian Prince. This hadith reported by Cuckoo. Cuckoo, he said to Dudu. Dudu said to Mimi. Mimi said to Fifi. Fifi said to Hoo-Hoo. Hoo-Hoo is very well known to be Hoo-Hoo. He say a lot of Hoo-Hoo things. So he's false. And now we refuted you. Like, what the heck? How easy it was. The conclusion is we Muslims are a bunch of liars. We make fabrication stories about our prophet. So we read their books. And the only solution is we say that our books is lying about our prophet. And then the Abdul, who never met the person who he accused him to be a liar, who never existed in his time, he knew he's a liar. I wonder if he knew he's a liar. We Muslims put him in the book. Why you say what a liar he say? Do you see how they refute you? So easy. So easy teasy. Very easy. But this will remind me of the author of the Quran. Look, look, look. There is a verse in the Quran. You know, first time when I read this verse, I was like very, very, I mean, I was like, now I'm 17, but at that time I was like 21, very young. Long time ago. There is a verse in the Quran. Muhammad, he told his wife, brother, a secret. Yes, brother. He told his wife a secret. And then, brother, the wives told the other wife, brother. And then, brother, the other wife, she told the other wife, brother. And then, brother, the other wife, she told the other wife, and the other wife told the neighbors, brother. And then, brother, Allah, he revealed what the wives told the other wife, some of it, brother. Some of it, brother. Look at this. Look at this complication, brother. It's like making nukes is easier. Do you remember? Okay, remember. Well, remember, this is in the time of Muhammad, you idiot. What remember? I mean, you Muslims, you insert word there. And when the Prophet, and look, here we go, they insert SAW. They cannot even say his name without SAW, FM, short wave, long tail. Disclose a matter of confidence to one of his wives. So when she told the other one, who's talking Allah? Abdul, don't you think that this is a gossip of a grandmother sitting in the front of a house of a farm? Two grandmother in the age of maybe 90 something, they are gossiping. This is God talking. So when the Prophet told his wife, and one of the other wives, she told the other wife, so the other wife, he told the other wife, and then Allah, he made it known to him. Like, what the heck? Allah made it known to him. He informed him part, therefore. He informed him only part. Which part? And left a part. Like, what the heck? Allah informed him a part and left a part. So they don't want to say that Muhammad is ignorant. They do not know what they were saying. Allah informed him only a part, brother. Christian Prince. Allah, he told Prophet ZAKIR NAIK, I did not answer the phone. I heard the ring. How you can go in the line right away? Christian Prince, we are hacking your phone. And right now I'm inside your phone. ZAKIR NAIK, I know. My phone is shaking, man. Because always you shake. Aren't you a shake yourself? Exactly. And now I'm going to explain to you. I will get you butted. Then the Prophet told his wife a secret. And the wife, he told the other wife a secret. And then Allah revealed for him some of the secret, which he told the secret. And then Allah, Prophet, he knew about it, some of it, but he did not know the other part. What does that mean? Hey, our friend, the one who said the verse is clear. The one who said to us the Quran, read the Quran, brother. If you like to read the Quran, brother, it's explained itself, brother. Read the Quran, brother. And are you sure that this gossip is coming from God the Almighty? What the? Oh boy. Don't you think that it is little immature for your God to send a bear to attack children just for, okay, hold on, guys, Just to show you how stupid those Muslims, they do not know even what their books is saying. What if I show you the story in your books from your prophet? What you would do? What do you do? My God, he sent a bear to punish those who made fun of a prophet. What your God did? Do you dare to call me and face the challenge you made for me? And let us see who's the dump. Huh? Do you see how immature you are, stupid? God, he created everybody. God, he can take the life of everybody. He do it every day. And if God decides to punish you for insulting a prophet, this is God, not an army of somebody. God, he did it. Isn't it your God supposedly storing the story from the Bible about Sodom and Gomorrah and even the children that died? Why? Because they insulted the prophet? Are you there? Don't you think it's immature? Don't you think that Allah, he made fun of a man he made fun of Allah, and he put the miswak in his anus, and then Allah, he made him deliver a child from his anus 7 months after he gave birth to a rat? Don't you think this is an immature story? Don't you think it's immature that someone, he is a prophet, he rip a woman 2 parts, and she is a very old woman, by tying her legs between 2 camels? This is not God, this is Muhammad. Just because she spoke against him, shouldn't he forgive her? She's an old woman. Isn't it this is what a great men they do? An old woman, she insulted me, and I will beat her up. I will tie her legs between 2 camels and rip her apart. And her name is Qirfa. And then he raped her daughters. You are a Muslim talking about mature when your prophet, he married a 6-year-old child? Is that maturity? When a Muslim, he speak about maturity, he forgot that he is following the most pervert old man in Arabia. And not only that, actually, Muhammad, he said, just to show you the mature Allah, if you don't commit sin, Allah said, what Allah will do? Allah will destroy you. Is that a mature God, or he's mentally ill? He will destroy us for not committing sin or for committing sin. Your God is mentally ill, sick. And this is, by the way, you ask yourself, how the Muslim, they believe in the story of the flood of Noah, where God, he punished people for their sin became so too much. And then he say, I swear by Allah, if you don't commit sin, Allah would destroy you. And he come with people who commit sin and ask for forgiveness. And look at the false translation. It says replace you. What replace you? He will erase you. He will take you out of existence. He would sweep you out of existence. Why? Because we did not commit sin. So what is the requirement for this earth to be exist? Is to be filthy sinners. This is the only thing Allah He created us for. He wants sinners, otherwise He will sweep you out of existence, and He will replace you with those who would commit sin and then seek forgiveness. Immature God, lonely God. He needed people to beg for forgiveness. Those who don't do sin, they are boring. They are not doing sin, so how I can punish them? How I can ask them to pray, please forgive us? Is that the mature God? Is He? Isn't this is against everything God stands for? God, He will reward you if you are not a sinner. God, He will not punish you if you are a sinner. God, He will appreciate you being good. No. Because Allah is Satan. Allah is Satan. He is encouraging people to commit sin. And all what He wants from you, just ask for forgiveness. Do we have any Muslim have anything to say? All right, our Skype is open all this time, yet not even a single Abdul. Anyway, guys, I want to say thank you for being here. As you see, the conclusion about the Trinity, our God, He can be three and one in the same time. Yes, for He is Almighty God. If that is impossible for your mind, well, remember, everything is possible for God. Your God, because He's a false God, He cannot be three and one at the same time. And the one who questions how God can be, he cannot be a believer of God. He must be an atheist. You Muslims are a bunch of pagans. For your God is a rock, He cannot be three and one at the same time. He is just one rock. It's the black stone. And not only your God, they question His ability, how He can have a son if you don't have a girlfriend. Allah Himself, He questioned everything about Himself. He claimed that He is the originator of the earth and the heaven. Then He says, how can He have a son? Which is very simple. Well, shouldn't we ask the same question to the Quran then? How Mary, she can have a son, yet she have no boyfriend? If Allah cannot have a son without having a girlfriend, how Allah claimed that the miracle happened to Mary, it's coming from Him, if He cannot do it to Himself? The God of Islam is stupid. If God, three in one, why does God refer to my Father instead of me? Okay, thank you for the question. Let us put it in the screen. You know, my friend, there's many people do not understand what the Christian believe. When we say that God is one, one is not a number. One is a unity. The word in the Hebrew is echad. Echad is not one as number. The Bible says the man and the woman, they got married and they became echad. Echad. But they are not one person. They are two. So when we say God is one, we don't mean one as numbers. Can you number God? If you say God is one as a number, that means there's number two, there's number three, because you cannot say He's what one? One God? The one is a one of unity, not one of number. So people are living in the time of computers, in the time of very fast information to come to you. I remember when I was a kid, I used to walk almost 45 minutes to go to a library. And then because I'm a kid, they don't allow me to go with the adult. So I walk next to an adult so I can go in the adult section. And then the librarian, he would think I am the child of this person. He will let me get in. And then I sit in the table and grab any book in the table because I'm not allowed to go and ask for a book. There's a section for children's,
and there is Mickey Mouse. But obviously, today, a lot of people, they are still in the Mickey Mouse section. If you do a little search, you will find that the Christians do not believe that God is one as a number. And this is why your question is invalid. For you don't understand the nature of the God of the Christians. But isn't it Jesus, he says, me and the Father is one? Me and the Father is one, is Echad. If you don't want to learn, nobody can force you to learn. If you want to stay ignorant, it's your business to be ignorant. If you want to stay dummy, well, nobody can make you smart. You have to work in yourself. Roto Managa, he is saying the following. When you were a kid, you know that all kids, they make a stupid remark. First of all, they are not kids. They are youth. They are growing individuals. Secondly, I will take you accountable for what you just said. Isn't it in the Quran? It says that the Prophet Al-Khadr, he slaughtered a boy because one day he will become a disbeliever. So if the boy, he did not become a disbeliever and we slaughter him, we chop his head. Those boys already, the youth, they are disbelievers. They are making fun of the Prophet. The Prophet did not kill them. God took them. But in your Quran, we find that you're a prophet of Allah, Al-Khadr, teaching Moses how to slaughter a boy who one day he will become a disbeliever. And this is additional proof that Muslims are idiot. They do not know their book. Chapter 18, verse number 74. We will find that in that chapter, Al-Khadr, which is the messenger of Allah, who is the master, he is the guru, teaching Moses how to be a prophet. He found a boy and he slaughtered him. True Muslim, he says, why you run away, come and debate me? Well, Potato, if you are a man, call me in Skype. My Skype was open for the last 2 hours, and you Potato never dare to do so. Everybody is scared of all of you Muslims, to the point you don't dare to call me. Here you see that this kid did not even commit a sin yet. It says in front of you, Musa said to him, you have killed an innocent person who had killed none. Verily, you have committed a thing, munkar, filthy, bad, evil. Who is saying that? Musa's to Al-Khadr. What Al-Khadr he said to him? He said to him, you idiot. Allah, he sent you to me to learn from me. And I told you, you will not be able to handle it. And this is the answer why I killed the boy. As for the boy, his parents were believers, and we feared lest he should oppress them by rebellion and disbelief. So if we go back to what you just said, you are an embarrassment to your God. Because according to you, we should not punish kids because they do stupid things. This kid in the Quran did not even do the stupid thing. He did not even commit any sin. Yet you slaughter him, not God slaughtering him. Be honest with me, Manga. Aren't you embarrassed by what you just said to us? How you punish a child? He did not commit sin yet, and he is a Muslim. For we feared that one day this boy, he might do bad things. He did not do bad, and he is not even sure. He said, the Arabic is so clear. He says, we feared. Even in translation says, we feared. So now I walk down the street, I see a kid I don't like how he look like, so I feared that this boy will do something bad to his parents and he will become a disbeliever. So what we do? We kill him. Aren't you embarrassed for the challenge you just made to me? Be honest, if you have dignity. And this is a stand against everything called justice. The boy is playing in the street. The boy did not kill anyone. The boy did not do any bad act. The boy is just a boy. And how he killed him? Ah, it's separate matter. No, my friend, it is not separate matter. It is you who lost your penis. You are not a man to admit that your question got busted here, because they insulted the prophet. And why they should be killed? Well, if somebody insulted the prophet, should he be killed in Islam? The answer is yes. When they asked the prophet about killing children of the kuffar, he says, وَهُمْ مِنْهُمْ. They are from them. Coward liar. And how this is a separated matter when it is the same thing, but it's even more ugly if you describe the first one to be ugly. The first one, they insulted the prophet. The one in the Quran, they never insulted anyone. What we do? We slaughter the boy. And look what he said. By the way, since I badmouth your religion, why does not your God send the bear after me? Who did not? Who did say he did not? I'm here. And I made you shish kebab. And the joke of everybody. Life. You have no happiness. Have you ever heard of a Muslim is happy? You have no peace. You need the American to keep peace in the Middle East. If the American, they take their power from the Middle East right away, you Muslim will rip each other as you do for centuries. Since the time of Muhammad. Who killed the grandsons of Muhammad? Muslims. Who killed the caliphate? Muslims. Who killed each other? Muslims. You don't have a blessing of God. You are cursed. And that is the curse of God. You lost your decency. You lost your logic. You lost your sense. And you are just a fool. Thinking there is a God who will provide you with in this penis. You are a penis worshipper. What more God can do to you? You go to hell. And I am the bear who you Muslim fear. That's why none of you dare to call me. If you think you are the bear, he will be here right away. But you are a potato. You are the rabbit. All of you are rabbits. Like, you know, look at the leader of Hezbollah. We sign agreement with Israel to make the line. We scare them. You scare them, you stupid. You just approve them to be a state of Israel by signing agreement. This is our borders. And just less than 24 hours before Israel, they hit a big base for Hezbollah in Syria. Less than 6 hours before that, they hit a big base for Hezbollah. Less than 24 hours before that, they hit another base in Syria. And Hezbollah never dared to respond. Yet they claim to be heroes. More than 80,000 attacks by Israel happened in the last 10 years on the Shia militant in Syria. Zero response. Yet they claim to be heroes. And Israel is scared of them. You are terrified. This is what you are saying now. The bear is all over you. You have us. You have Israel. You have yourself. You are the enemy of yourself. You Muslims kill each other. You admit that your God is bad too? Well, my friend, a Muslim, he can think about God as bad as he wish. But the good God, yours, is the God who make your penis endless. I challenge you to tell me, to call us right now, and to say to us how good it is your good God promised you endless penis. How you can walk with it. Is that a bad promise or good promise? American Pirate, he said that Jesus, he said, more they will come after me, they will be more powerful than me. Do you like to call me and tell me how Jesus, he said that? Can you? I laugh at what people say. I found that stupidity is amazing for a reason. Go ahead. You want to call me? This is Jesus, he said. Lord have mercy. You know, through my experience with people who speak and they try to oppose Christianity, they read as they wish, they understand as they wish, and they come with the questions as they like. And Jesus, he said that. Oh boy. Anyway, do we have any mature Muslim he dare to call me? Oh, look, guys, look how they are ashamed of their God. Why do you bring a da'if hadith, penis, that I am starting to think you like them? Is that why you are not married? Is that why Allah he is not married? He like penises? And as long it's a da'if hadith, isn't it this is mean? Is it true hadith? Because da'if hadith has a rank. Do you know what da'if hadith mean, you idiot? It means it's accepted. Da'if does not mean it's rejected. It is accepted. Secondly, what if I show you a strong hadith, sahih hadith, what you will do? And does that mean that your prophet, he liked too much penises because he keep talking about his penis? I'm going with your logic. Is it true that your prophet, he says that his cousin here raped him? I can show you the reference. Who care? Who care to call me and question the same question? And the funny is that you just admitted that you Muslims, you're transparent with us about your religion and writing hadiths that your prophet said about penis, and you are saying it is da'if, and then you need to ask yourself if da'if mean bad, so why you Muslim write it in your books, which is in the book of good hadith? So now because you're ashamed of what your prophet said, you say that. But let us go to the Quran. Are you going to say the Quran is da'if? Let us go to the Quran. Does the Quran describe what the penis they will do? Here we go. Why your God keep talking about penis in the Quran? Chapter 55, verse number 56, chapter 55, verse number 74. Which one you want first? Mr. Penis God. This is your God, and this is your translation, and this is your Quran. Read it. What Allah He promised you? Vaginas never penetrated by the penises of genie or men and did not bleed yet. Those are for who? So now I'm going to ask you what you exactly will use with those vaginas. Your tongue, your nose, or your penis? For sure your tongue. Because you Muslim, you lick the black stone, which is a vagina. Is that God talking? He promised me women, their vagina never been opened by a penis? Why, it's a Pepsi Cola? Is that a Da'if Quran? Why Allah keep talking about vagina and penises? Allah must be a God who like penises. And can you tell me, by the way, how Allah explaining that genie is going to open vaginas of women? John 12:14, very truly, American patriot, just go, man. You just asked me a question previously, people are laughing at you. Just go, copy paste. If you have a courage, call me. Notice the stupid subject of this verse about wholesome male pleasure. But if you are a homosexual, that okay with me. All right, guys, it's about wholesome pleasure. What is the pleasure of wholesome of a woman no genie did F her yet? Explain to us. I'm waiting for you. And as long you are saying to me that if you are a homosexual, it's okay for me, is it okay for a Prophet Muhammad to be homosexual with you? Because I can prove it to you. The Quran promise you, not actually, ZAKIR NAIK, he said, the word hur, brother and sister, the word hur is a plural word, and does that mean male or female? It's for both. So Allah, He promised you hur. So sister, inshallah, in the heaven you will have hur. So the Quran, when it's the Quran say hur according to ZAKIR NAIK, you will have a male. But hold on. This is your prophet saying, in the heaven of Allah, there is images. Images of men and women. If a man, he wish the image, he enter in it and have sex with it. Who is the homosexual? The one who promised you to have sex with men. Who is in the image? Men and women. Who is the customer? The man. And we can show you exactly the same in the Quran. إن في الجنة سوقا ما فيها بيع ولا شراء إلا الصور من النساء والرجال فإذا اشتهى الرجل صورة دخل فيها. In the heaven there is a market where is no buying nor selling except images of men and women. So if a man desire an image, he enter it. Who is the homo? Now let us go to the Quran and prove homosexuality in the heaven of Allah. Allah, He promised every single Muslim in the heaven, he will have at least 80,000 boys, and they are so pretty. And they are so white. Read the Quran. Chapter 52. 2 verse number 24. The Muslims, they add here the word serve them. It doesn't say that. It says around them boys, no servants. No serve them. Around them boys who they are white like pearls. What those boys specification? They will not bleed. Chapter 37 verse number 47. Allah, He promised us that we will have sex and we will drink wine and we will never get dizzy. What about the boys? Let's go to the boys. The boys who they will go around them and they have with them cups and glass full of wine. It's a sex party with wine. And they will not do bleed. The Muslim, they translate the bleed. They will not get it drunk. Who is going to get it drunk? The boys? Or the Muslims? And why the one is going around them is boys. And they are white. And they are pretty like pearls. That is explained in the following verses. Or if you read the verses before them. So those who enter heaven, they will be having party of sex. A lot of virgins and boys around us while we are effing virgins. The boys, they have a special specification. They are so pretty and they are so white. Are they going to be wearing clothing? No, they will be naked. What they are doing around us, they are, according to the Quran and the Muslim translation, they are going around us with cups and jugs and glass full of a flowing wine. Who like to have boys around him when he is having sex? If he is not having sex with the boys. You tell me. The Quran says, Allah, He promised the Muslims whatever they wish as a desire. I have a debate with a Muslim sheikh, and he said to me, well, there is no sin in heaven. You can have sex with men. And actually, I can show you the reference from your Islamic scholars from the best website you choose. There is no sin in heaven. Anything you wish is valid in Islam. In the Islamic heaven. Allah promised you anything you wish. Chapter 16, verse number 57. Chapter 21, verse 102. Anything you want. Chapter 43, verse number 71. Anything you desire. And now if we ask Muslims, is a homosexual will go to heaven? The answer is yes. The Quran says, Allah, He forgive every sin except shirk. The Bible say no. The Bible say no. Quran say yes. And this is your Quran. And as long you are promising people who go to heaven of Allah whatever they wish, what a homosexual will wish? He will go to heaven. If we go here, we will find the following. Chapter 16, verse number 57. Oh, forget about this one. Hold on. This is a different story. Allah, He repeat once after once after once. Whatever you desire, your heart desire is granted. Whatever your heart desire is granted. Whatever. We continue. Chapter 43, verse number 71. Whatever you desire, you will grant it. Anything you desire, whatever your soul desire, anything. Let us continue. Chapter 52, verse number 22. And wherever they desire. Let us continue. I mean, there's tons. But look what happened now. Homosexual, they will go to heaven, guaranteed. Only those who they commit shirk, their sin is not forgiven. All those verses confirming that for us. Let us read one of them. Verily Allah, chapter 4, verse 48. Verily Allah forgive not the one who take partner with him, but He forgive anything else to whom He please. Do you see it? So can you prove to me that homosexual they will not go to heaven in Islam? Isn't this is your God? Who is a Muslim want to answer? Isn't this your book? You see, I mean, you people are really stupid. Aren't you the one who says the verses explain themselves just 15 minutes ago? Now you are saying to me, find me a scholar. Do you remember when I found you the scholar, he said that you or your God, Allah, if you want to have a wife, He will have the hur? You said to me, why you go by the scholar? And now you are saying, find me a scholar. This is the Quran. It says, whatever you wish. Find me a scholar. He says, whatever you wish does not mean whatever you wish. Let us do this. Manga. Can you give me a name of a scholar you trust? Can you give me a name of a scholar, really scholar? Not a YouTuber. I challenge you to give me a name of a scholar. I will open the scholar of your choice. I will put it in the screen. I literally find me anyone that believe in his servant or sleeping with. Well, you see, if the verse saying whatever you wish, who is going to stop you? Your prophet said, whatever is forbidden in earth is not forbidden in heaven. As an example, the one who drink wine in earth, he will not drink wine in heaven. That means still he will go to heaven. And that's mean if a homosexual he have sex with male in earth, he will not be allowed to have sex with male in heaven, but others they will be allowed. Oh boy. And you know, isn't it your prophet himself was a homosexual? Here we go. This is your prophet. If I tell you a story now about two men rubbing their chest against each other, The guy, he turned his ass to the Prophet and he is rubbing his back with the chest of the Prophet. The guy, he is kissing the Prophet belly. The Prophet is kissing the guy belly. This depends how you understand the story. And then the other guy says to him, please don't stop. This is what I wanted. Your Prophet is a homosexual. The uncle of Muhammad is homosexual. Umar al-Khattab is homosexual. Read my book with reference. This is your Prophet, and this is Sahih Hadith. So don't come to me. It says Sahih al-Isnad. A guy, he was with his friends. Read with me carefully. So he was talking to the people and making them laugh. He's joking. The Prophet booked him under his ribs with a stick. Okay, nice. He said, let me take retaliation. He said, okay, take retaliation. He said, you are wearing a shirt, but I am not. What? You are wearing a shirt, but I am not. The Prophet, he raised his shirt, and the man embraced him and began to kiss his side. To kiss where? This is the Muslim translation, by the way. Kashhahu is down his belly. So the Prophet, he raised his shirt, and the man embraced him, and what he began to do? He began to kiss his side. Then he said, this is what I wanted. O Messenger of Allah. If your Prophet is a man and he is not what you call, what is this? Not to mention Muhammad sucking the tongues, licking faces. Of boys and men. What is this behavior? If you Muslims have a picture of a Christian prince and there's a guy is kissing his belly, down his belly, and Christian prince, he raised his t-shirt up so the guy can touch the skin, what you Muslim will say? Be honest. You Muslims are hypocrite. Proves that man had different sense, plantic interactions, useless, he's literally penetrating him. It's not homosexual. Okay. It's what then? Why your Prophet allow a man to kiss him down his belly? I'm asking you, what is the reason? A man is kissing a man down his belly. A prophet raising up his t-shirt. All what you said to me have nothing to do with what the question. This is all proving that the man had different sense of platonic interactions. Platonic? Unless he is penetrating him. So now it's he have to penetrate him to be. Do you Muslim do that when you walk in the street? You know, you do that to each other. This is Sunnah now. Do you do that platonic thing? Sounds like good platonic to me. Do you do? To be honest, do you have a picture of you doing platonic stuff? Huh? That's a lot of platonic. We can show you tons of reference. Obviously, your Prophet is encouraging homosexuality. Actually, I have a debate with a Muslim. Let me search for it. Oh, I'm typing in Arabic. Hold on. There is no sin in heaven. I'm looking for a debate. Here we go, maybe this one. Let us see. And here you see how Muslims are hypocrite. Each one of them, he tried to give you a different answer, depend in the situation, trying to hide the truth. Hello? I heard you, I saw you in the text saying this guy is a fraud. Why you don't want to talk now?
You hear me?
Oh, hold on, maybe his voice is not coming to him. Hold on.
Hello?
Prince.
Okay, do you hear me now?
I heard you, I saw you in the text saying this guy is a
Mute,
fraud.
mute you too, please. Mute you too. Let us go a little bit, go forward. About having sex with your mother. You and your father, you will have sex with the same woman, which is your mother.
Anything is fun. Everything comes from God in heaven.
No problem. So in the heaven of Allah, you will have a threesome, you and your father and your mother in the bed.
Okay.
And you don't see that there's something wrong with that.
What do you not understand about nothing is sin?
Well,
Sin
I'm
is
just trying to
we
understand, my
think
friend. You
it's
see, I'm not
sin.
smart like you.
We think it's sin due to our social
Okay,
structure.
if ZAKIR NAIK, I'm not trying to insult, by the way. I'm not trying to insult. Don't take me wrong, please. You know, I don't know you.
are.
Okay, no, I'm not trying to insult. If ZAKIR NAIK, he want to have sex with your sister, and you like your sister, so are you willing, you and ZAKIR NAIK, to share your sister together?
In this case, ZAKIR NAIK
Hmm.
in heaven, he would have a situation in which he could.
He could. So you and your sister and your ZAKIR NAIK in one bed.
But it wouldn't be wouldn't be my sister.
Why not?
In heaven, think of it as anything can happen.
Well, anything can happen. So your sister, it's possible that you and ZAKIR NAIK having sex with your sister in the same time. That's amazing. Pleasure. I mean, what I can say. This is beautiful, my friend. I'm really in touch. I'm thinking now to convert to Islam. And can you tell me what is the wisdom behind this? Why? Why your sister and ZAKIR NAIK and you in the bed and you don't see that there's something wrong with that? Why you think there's nothing wrong with that?
Look, okay, due to our social structure and morals, yes, it's wrong. But when you get to heaven, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Yes.
What if somebody want to have sex with the Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him?
If it's in heaven, yes.
So the Prophet, he will take off his panty, he will bend over, and we will see somebody doing him from his behind.
In my heaven, yes.
Okay, that's wonderful. And do you think you will be hurt if somebody do it to you because you're a man? I mean, I think that will be hurting you badly. Do you think Allah will ease your anus pain?
No, listen, that person, whoever who wants to do it, he would be able to do it in his own time and space.
With time and space, no problem, but he need his penis too. So you are a man now, and a man, he want to do sex to you, and now, you know, because you are a man, unless you are used to it, I mean, it's going to hurt badly. Do you think Allah will make it easier for you when Abdul, he do?
I would not be the one that he does it to. I'd be.
Why? You like to do it to men? You don't like men to do it to you?
No. It'd be a different me in a different time and space.
Oh, so your anus will be bigger in the heaven. Okay, I got that.
No.
So what do you mean I am different me? You are saying different me. I don't know.
A me in a different time and space.
I understand different time and space. I get that. You know. Okay, explain to us different time and space. What does that mean? Let us see what I try to say.
For example, you can have a dream about someone, but that someone it's not the person in real life, real time.
Oh, okay. So you can dream about someone, not necessarily he's from real time, but he will become real for you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what if you dream about something real? You can dream about someone real, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So if you have a dream that you have sex with Muhammad Ali Clay,
yes. My answer is yes. I just explained to you.
look like you are waiting for it, like because you said like yeah, yes, like wow, man, look like you are dying
No,
for
it's
that day.
because you go in a loop. Because you repeated the same thing. I said yes already.
Ah, okay. So okay. So my friend, after you spend all your day having sex with men and women and your mother and your sister, as you said, don't you think this is like really weird? I mean, what kind of heaven this heaven is?
It is weird because due to our moral and human minds, yes. But once you go to heaven, you are free from that.
So you are in the heaven of Islam. Let us make it clear for the audience, me and you. In the heaven of Islam, you will be free from your moral, correct?
Yes.
Which means you will have no morality.
Sorry, what?
You said that in the earth we have moral, in heaven we don't have moral, correct?
It's a social structure, yes.
Yeah, so in the heaven of Allah we have no moral, we can do whatever we wish. So if my neighbor, he have a wife, I can jump over his window and I can do bing bong with the wife, right?
Your desires will happen, yes.
Okay, that's wonderful. And what will make that of you? I mean, that will make you really happy? You think this will be a very happy time for you?
Any of my desires will be able to happen, yes. If that someone is happy, then they'll be happier.
Okay, my friend,
I don't know.
The one before you, we asked him about having sex with your daughter. He said there's no problem.
Yeah.
Is that the same for you? You don't have a problem having sex with your daughter?
In heaven?
Yeah.
I don't care. It's heaven. I'm already dead.
Okay. No, in heaven you are not dead. You are alive there. You have a real penis.
No, I'm dead from this world.
Ah, okay. So in the heaven of Allah, you have no problem. Somebody actually is asking me, what if somebody, 500 men, they want to have sex with you? Let us assume you are very handsome, you are handsome very much, and there's 500 men, they want to have sex with you. So what we will do now? It's okay for you?
They would
sound like it's very something you like very much. Okay. Well,
no, it's in the time and space that each man will be able to imagine whatever they want, and it will happen.
Okay. Well, I don't know. This is a very interesting religion, by the way.
I don't understand what your problem with that is.
I'm sure you don't understand because you are coming from different world, my friend. You don't have a problem with anything, having sex with your mother, with your sister, with your daughter, with the goat, with the donkey, men with men. I mean, this is the hippie religion.
Okay, do you think that having many wives is wrong?
In earth?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. The Bible says, don't multiply your wives.
How many wives did Solomon have?
It's not God who told him to do that. Solomon, and David, they asked God for repentance. They pray for God, saying, please, God, forgive us.
About having multiple wives? What about Moses?
All about the sin. So things happen in.
So each prophet had multiple wives.
Okay, my friend. Even Abraham, the father of those names, he have 2 wives, correct?
Yes.
But it's not God who told him to do that. So, and there is certain time where people
you can't eat unless God tells you to eat. You can't walk unless God tells you to walk.
No. There is certain time where even in the beginning of Adam and Eve, a brother, he have sex with his. Anyway, as you see, this is the morality of Islam, that in heaven there is no moral. Did you hear it? In heaven of Allah, Muslims, they don't have a problem to have sex, men with men, women with women, men with the children, with animals, with angels, with anything. And they confirm that there is no sin in heaven. And the guy was screaming at me. She says, Christian Prince, why you don't want to understand? There is no sin in heaven. Meantime, hold on.
Hello?
Prince.
Okay, do you hear me now?
I heard you. I saw you on the text saying this guy.
Mute.
Sorry?
Mute YouTube so we don't have double voice. What do you want to say to us, Mr.
Yes.
Ras? Why you are upset? You said you said this guy is a fraud.
Sin in heaven.
Huh?
Nothing is sin in heaven.
Thank you very much. That's what I'm saying. In the heaven, you can have sex with the goat. It's fine for you. There's nothing is sin in heaven. So simply the way Muslim they look at heaven is a place, is a free zone for sin. It's a free zone where you practice all the sin which you could not do maybe in the earth. So the house of Allah is a bar of every wrongdoing you were forbidden to do in earth, in the bar of Allah, it is yours. No sin in heaven. And this guy was screaming at me, by the way, and the one before him, there's the previous caller, he said to me, why you are stupid? We keep saying to you, there is no sin in heaven. What's wrong with you? Why you are asking those questions? You're in heaven now. And this is why it's heaven. Because you can do anything you wish. So when the Quran says anything they wish, the Quran means anything you wish. When Muhammad says there is images of men and women, and if the man he like the image, he enter upon it and have sex with it, Muhammad he mean it. Muhammad he confirm it. And when the Muslim they say this is da'if and this is strong, that is additional proof that Islam is a da'if religion. It's a weak religion. Allah could not preserve what Muhammad he said, because remember, Islam is not based only in the Quran. Actually 90% of Islam is not in the Quran. So how Islam is preserved if the hadith is not preserved? Actually, even the word sin, when the Muslim they say to you it is sin, as an example, a Muslim he says to you fornication is sin, but Muhammad he allow fornication. As an example, Muhammad he allow Muslim men and women to have sex together 3 days 3 nights in exchange of money or gifts. Is that true? Yes. So when a Muslim they say Islam is against sin, you need to understand that what is sin in Islam is not really sin. Muhammad he speak against fornication supposedly, but in fact Muhammad promote fornication. He gave it different names. Allah apostle he said, if a man and a woman agree, the Muslim translation says temporarily marry. In Arabic nowhere it says marriage. Agree to live together, ishra, to have sex together for 3 days. Look at the first translation. I mean, you can take Google translation here. You can copy it and post it in Google. You will find this is absolutely false. There's nowhere it says marriage. And then, if a man he like to live with the women for 3 days 3 nights, if they like to continue, they can continue. If they don't want to continue to separate, they separate. And then the Muslim they said this was later abrogated. Where? Where is the abrogation? The Quran in front of us, chapter 4:24 says you pay women money for enjoying their vagina. This is Islam. So, you know, many Christians are confused because Muslims they use same words you use, like sin, fornication, lying. But in Islam you can lie. Chapter 3 verse 28, a Muslim is being ordered to lie to non-Muslims. He's been ordered. He can call you a friend only if he's lying. He can call you I like you only if he's lying. He can tell you I love America only if he is lying. But if he is meaning that, he should be killed. He will be punished. His wives will be raped. And this is not my words. This is the official government website of the King of Jordan, who is a great friend to America. Read it. You cannot take Christians and Jews as a friends. This is the same in chapter 5 verse number 51. However, the Quran make it clear that you cannot take a Christian and Jews as a friends. You cannot take the hypocrite and the disbelievers as a friends. And the one who do that, which mean he has no connection, he has no honor, he has no mercy or protection, which means we can kill him or rape his wife. Unless it that ye yet to be guard yourself against them. Save yourself from them, speaking as well security, saving yourself from them by speaking in a friendly way toward them, while your heart is like this. This is the religion of the devil. So when somebody, he says to you, I am your friend, and he's a Muslim, if you believe him really that he's your friend, you are just a stupid fool. A Muslim is not allowed to take non-Muslims as friends. He's not. Quran chapter 5 verse number 51 make it so clear. You see this Kadyrov, he announced jihad against Ukraine, right? But this guy, his commander-in-chief is Putin. And Putin, he claimed to be Christian. And the Russians are Christians. So how this guy is asking the Muslim to do jihad for the sake of the Christian king, Putin? According to the Quran, he is not a Muslim. O who you believe, take not Jews and Christians as friends or protectors, helpers, etc. They are awliya to each other, which means protectors, friends, helper to each other. And he among you who take them as awliya, then surely he is one of them. Do you see it? So if a Muslim really he take you as a friend and he mean it, then he become an apostate. Only at that time you believe him. If you say I am an apostate from Islam, maybe you believe him. The Quran is so clear. It's in the front of your eyes. And this is the Muslim translation. And you can open the interpretation of every Muslim scholar. Do you see those coward, Mimi Hijab, Ali Dawah? They pay tax to Her Majesty the Quinn, now the King Charles government. The Quran says you don't do that. They hold passport, have a crown, and the crown has a cross. When they took the citizenship, they took an oath to obey the protector of the faith, the king. Which faith? Christianity. They will say to you, oh, we do that using chapter 3, verse number 28. Taqiyya. They lie. You will see this guy, the Ibn Fabian, the notebook guy, the ketchup boy. He said to when he see Christians in San Diego, he says, my friend, my friend, my friend, my friend. When a Christian, black African Christian from San Diego tried to touch the Quran, he said to him, don't touch him. Don't touch the Quran. You are najis. You are filthy, dirty. This is the truth, my friend. And as you see, after many hours live on air, same as yesterday, same as the day before, same as the day before, not a single Abdul dare to call us. Why? Because they knew they will be humiliated. Don't forget to subscribe to us if you care. And for sure you can join us in Patreon if you care, and most of you don't, as usual. I say to you that Mohammed is a false man. Reto Menk, I challenge you. I challenge you to show me in the Quran what you just claimed. You see, I want to go, but those Abdul, they say things. Can you show me? Where in the Quran it's forbid homosexuality? Actually, in the Quran it says, if there is two men having sex together, you just insult them. Do you want me to show you? Chapter 4. Verse number 16. This is your Quran. You are just a stupid fool. And you are a coward. If two person, and look at the false translation, says man and women, false. It says walladhani, two men. If we change the translator, look what will happen. It's not a woman and male, it's a male and male. Because the verse above before it, it's about female and female. Liars, like their prophet, no dignity. Go back. As for those twain, what the heck is that? That is different translation. When two of you commit indecency, two of you, that's all? Is it not? It's not two men? I mean, have you ever heard of somebody having sex by himself? What a stupid religion. You have to find a translation. You have to keep moving. Okay, let's go. Different translator. Punish them both, man and women. Where is the one? Where is the man? Where is the women? I mean, no decency. Let us continue. Hilali and Khan. Two person, man and women. Like, what the heck? But here it says, if those of your women commit illegal sexual intercourse, what we do, we jail them. Those are lesbian. Here is for men. Coward, liars. Let us change the translator. Maybe we'll find somebody have dignity one day. And punish them, those both guilty parties. Like, what the heck? Let us go to a different one. Maududi. Punish them both among you who are guilty of sin. Like, what the heck? Let us see Aitani. Of two men, finally one Muslim man, he said the truth. If two men among you commit it, punish them both. If they repent and reform, leave them alone. How we punish them? The word in Arabic, it says فَآذُوهُمَا, hurt them, not punish them. How we hurt them? Let us go and see the interpretation. Isn't it this guy, he said to me, why you don't go by the scholars? I will go by the scholars. Chapter 4, verse number 16. The scholar says, we beat them with sandals. With what? With sandals. You beat them with sandals. And when two of you, two men, committed that is a loud act, adultery or homosexuality, intercourse, punish them both with insult and beating with sandals. If they repent of this loud act, made no action against them. This is the Islam and this is the Quran. Not a single verse in the Quran opposing it. It's just a normal thing. Like, it's a sin, but it's okay. Beat them with sandals. And then they repent, they are fine. And then they do it again, beat them with sandals. And then they repent, they are fine. Then the Muslim, they will say to you that the hadith says that the one who do that, you kill him. The Quran says the opposite. Which one the Muslim they follow? The word of Allah or the word of Muhammad? In the case of lesbian, we jail women until they die. And here you see that Islam considers women having sex together is more ugly. It's a big deal. And no forgiveness. They will be jailed until they die. But if two men doing boom boom together, it's okay. We beat them with sandals. If they repent, let them go. And this is your interpretation. And this is your book. And this is your translation. It's in front of you. If your women who commit loudness, adultery, call for Muslim for them, and by the way, it's impossible in Islam to prove adultery or fornication or homosexuality anyway, because you need to find 4 witnesses, and all of them, they have to see the penis of the man going in and out. Quran chapter 26 verse 166. Okay, I will go to Quran 26, but can you answer me first about this verse? Is it true if 2 men, according to the Quran, this is the teaching of Allah, this is the teaching of Allah, not my teaching, if 2 men, they commit homosexuality, you Muslims, the punishment for them is just beat them with sandals, and they are still Muslims? Yes or no? If we go to the chapter the coward he mentioned, chapter 26 verse 166, all of you, you can open it, you will see this has have nothing to do with homosexuality. Where is this homosexuality? This is the chapter you name for me. Mentally ill people. They search Google, they don't know what they are talking about. This verse, chapter 26, verse 166, is about homosexuality. Same time, as you see, even if you are a homosexual, you are a Muslim. You are not out of the faith. And you will go to heaven. The Quran made it clear. Allah forgive all sin except associating with him. Very clear. And we just showed you the Muslims approve homosexuality in heaven. Okay, so guys, beating with sandals is prescribed as a punishment for the homosexual. But homosexual, he might get excited if he was beaten by men by sandals. So look, let us think about it. If a man have sex with the women, we whip him 100 times, and we whip the women 100 times by leather belt. But if a man have sex with the man, we beat him with sandals. So which one is a greater sin in Islam? If a woman, she is having sex with the man and she is married, we stone her. If a married man having sex with married man, what we do to them? We beat them with sandals. So which one is a greater sin in Islam then? This is your comment, not my comment. All of you are Joe Biden to me. All of you. Mentally ill. You say stupid things to prove us right. But the purpose is to prove us wrong. If the punishment of a woman having sex with the man is way greater than the punishment of a man having sex with a man, that means your prophet did not see it as a big guilt. Okay, hold on. As long as Allah is merciful, why he stone a woman for sex with the man, but he is not stoning the man for sex with the man? Remember, it's you who said Allah is merciful. So Allah is merciful with the homosexual, but he is not merciful with the straight people. You tried to fix it, you made it more blind. Stupid like your prophet. Guys, Allah is merciful. He's giving them second chance. Oh, you know, there's a story, and I will finish with this. You can read it in the Shia Pan website. You know, the Muslim Shia and the Sunni, they expose each other. So there's a guy, when a Muslim, he killed the Caliphate Uthman. One of the Muslims, obviously he is a homo like he's a prophet, he said, if I know the one who killed Uthman, I would do boom boom to him. I will use the F word. I will F him. A homosexual presented in the scene, and he said, I am the one who killed Uthman. I swear by Allah. So this Muslim Mujahid, he made the one who admit that he killed Uthman bend over, and he start effing him. And then the guy who is underneath, he was saying, if I know killing Uthman will have a punishment like this, I would love to kill Uthman every day. Is that me making a story up? I challenge you to challenge me. If I know that the punishment of killing Uthman is this, I would love to kill Uthman every day. Can you bring Uthman back to life so I kill him again? This is your religion, and those are your books. And now you are saying to us Allah is all merciful, so he stoned a woman to death for having sex with a man, but a man having sex with man, we beat him with sandals. This is what happened. Muhammad was trying to stage a religion. He do not know what he's saying. He's just a stupid idiot. And this is why Muhammad, he says something in the morning, he changed it afternoon, especially when the Jews start making fun of his new law. That is a Shia source. No, this is a Sunni source, you idiot. The Shia are making fun of your source. The Shia are making fun of you, Sunni. Anyway, guys, time to go. Feel free to download the video. We don't keep them for long, as you know. And we will keep the chat running when we go live, as long people maintain with the topic. And if you don't, I will block you. If you don't want to be blocked, when you join here, stay with the topic, focus on the topic, think with us, because we want people to speak maturely about the topic we speak of. All right? So I want to say thank you all for being here, and we pray that the Lord will open the eyes of the Muslims. They will see that Muhammad is nothing but an evil child molester man. He is a rapist, and their books confirm everything we say. None of what we said is our statement. It is their books. He is a thief. He is a liar. He is a fabricator. He is a child molester. He is a cheater. He even flirted with his own son wife. Who respects such a man? Who can trust such a man to enter his house? You see, we Christians, we spit at the priest who they are child molesters. Those who sleep around with women, cheating their wives, they will go to hell. How about Muhammad? Those are the worst of us. Muhammad is the best of them. A child molester is the worst of us. A child molester is the best of them. That will tell you what Islam is. Think about it, if you have a brain. Thank you all for being here. May the Lord bless you, and until we see you soon again. Christ is Lord. Islam is a scam, and we prove it every day. Take care.
I mean, again, he doesn't know who gave